The means of this video is just a simple discussion of what I want my own media product to consist of. Like, as you know from previous posts on Blogger, I want my media video to consist of mental disability, as in my favourite film which inspired me to go along these lines was Shutter Island, which is a obviously psychological thriller which may delve into the unknown of horror as well. But the basics of what my media video to consist of was the trailer would start off in a classroom, simple classroom, hopefully scientifically or more psychologically, because it's the whole of my video is based on psychological experiments. So it would stay in the science lab or something along those lines, and it would start with like the pictures, sort of Warner Brothers stuff like that. That would come up with no sound. All you could hear was footsteps. This would just entail about the main character, like horror baddie, walking into the room, and then you would see like a close up of her feet, obviously walking, hearing her footsteps, and then she would be at the front of the class, telling the whole class about the whole experiment, and then we see how evil, twisted it is in a certain way, but also because the main character has a certain innocence about her, we don't develop a sort of anger towards her as we should to other characters because of her innocence and vulnerability. So this is why I specifically picked the actor Jodie, which is in the post above. You may see a picture of her, because I think she fits the criteria for a innocent, like basically baddie. And then the next shot would basically show the main character who's happened to his family. All his family is dead, and emotional, but of him finding out about this. But because the whole trailer is based upon, is this real or is it not, there'll be lots of mixed shots towards the end of I don't know, like anything involving brain experiments or anything that consists about what he's saying is wrong. So like, I'd like to include a scene where someone leaves a white envelope on his windshield of his car, and he looks at it and it says, "How long do you sleep?" which obviously then reveals he doesn't sleep at all, showing that what he's doing is maybe creating a story that doesn't exist. And there'd be like different lines like, "You don't even have a brother, there is no experiment, that person doesn't exist." A constant playing on your mind of confusion and anxiety, because you don't know what's actually occurring, and you feel the pain that he's feeling, because he's not an evil sort of person as such. Even though he's killing these people and maybe killing their families, you develop a liking to this character because you can see where he's coming from. But the pain he feels is going to be really strongly portrayed in the trailer, and I've got to try and show that really well. So that's what I'd like my trailer to start with, and then as the trailer continues, there'd be a scene of violence where I would hit someone with a snooker ball in a sock, and that would hit the person, they would go down, and then there'd be a mixture of close-ups of their feet trying to struggle, the hands grabbing my throat, their face in a struggle, and then a quick hammer to the face that I pull out my back, which would also show a close-up of me pulling it out, hitting in the face. But the camera would be below the character, and then the blood split up in my face to show the violence, but you don't actually see me hit the character. But there'll be different scenes of violence, you know. I have actually practised fight sequences to show like what would be the best camera angles to use to highlight the worst parts of violence. So that's the main about my trailer. This is what I want it to show and consist of, with hopefully tense music, and hopefully music that gets the person going and wants the person to watch this movie. And that's the main part of a trailer, is to highlight the best parts of a movie and sell it, because it's all based on a selling point, it's marketing, and that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and market a pretend movie as best I can. So that's what I wanted to say really.